I think you really put quite a strong note on how difficult it is to know when to leave a relationship, because you left one, or one ended 3 different times
Yeah,
before, and not to mention all the micro
totally.
New
Yeah,
York
yeah.
breakups, that like
Yeah.
time accounts for a lot. But something you said that I would love your opinion on, that said that there was a big power imbalance. Like, I think anytime someone says there's a big power imbalance in the relationship, I think someone would think someone is putting something upon them. Where
Mm.
you followed up with saying that, like, you just didn't feel like
Yeah.
you were part of it. So was it the case of like you thinking that you were here and your partner was there, or is the whole time you could have been here?
I think the whole time I could have been there. I think, I was on my
And
own
sorry for people that
journey.
are listening.
Oh,
I'm
yeah,
just
sorry. Yeah.
I'm just saying on the same levels
Right.
that that Megan thought that she was less than and not on the same level as her partner. But you're saying that you think that you could have been at the same level the whole time. It was really just how you were seeing yourself.
Exactly. I mean, I think, my work always has been and will continue to be, honestly, as like, especially as a woman in this world who's always told that she's not whatever enough. Like, I, again, I did not grow up in a home where I like really learned my worth and like learned how lovable I was. And there were very understandable reasons for that in terms of, my parents and their divorce and what they went through as a result, and not really being able to be emotionally available or available to kind of help me believe that I was like worthy and good and lovable and could fail and could, be imperfect and all of these kinds of things. And so, especially moving to New York, I moved there in 2015. Like, I mean, New York is the center of greatness in many ways, where of course everybody feels like they're not good enough. Like there's always someone to compare yourself to who's like
Right.
better or smarter or richer or whatever it is. And so, I think like, I just didn't really, I thought, gosh, like I'm in this sea of like incredible women out there. And, in dating, like, why would somebody choose me over like all of these other women who are super fashionable and skinny and like come from wealthy families, and they've got these like, like executive level jobs, and they're funny and they're cool, and like they know the right people to get into the right clubs. And I'm just like this, like, from like Kamloops, British Columbia, this like sort of like uncool Canadian who like, yeah, has lots of
Right.
friends. And I know I'm like a like fun and kind person, but like I was always told I didn't have enough like, kind of like edge or aggressiveness. And I was like too nice and I was too Canadian, all this kind of stuff.
Ugh.
And so I think I just always like never thought that I sort of like could, I don't know, have the value, self-value to be like chosen, I guess, over all of these other people that were running around New York City. And, there was a little bit of a like self-fulfilling prophecy there, in which I did choose to date a man who had dated a lot in New York City. And, sort of that was his journey for a long time. So I'm not saying that I was, totally out of left field with that theory. But, for the first couple of years, because of his sort of doubt or less investment in the relationship, coupled with my real desire to try to like get this person to choose me, it really just like reinforced this belief that I was like, yeah, like I'm not good enough. And then in the spaces in between when we would break up, especially the last time when I kind of finally came into my own, and I was like, no, like I finally like I moved to, New York, and I cashed out my pension from like where I was working in British Columbia, and I didn't
Right.
have any money, and I like hustled at a startup until I could like, get a visa and leave. And then I like started my own business, and I would see people at a coffee shops for like $60 a session, and like, work, get any kind of like under the table job or whatever. Like I really did hustle a lot, and I didn't have this like, the brand or whatever that I sort of do now, when I didn't have like all of these like, high powered clients. And I just like, I didn't really know like that I mean, I guess at the time I didn't feel like I deserved to like be proud of myself or be somebody that someone would want to partner with, because I didn't know that
Right.
inherently. And I was just judging myself based on like my appearance, my like success or lack thereof, my bank account, like these things that, who I knew in the city to like get me into whatever club. And
Yeah,
so,
New York must be super hard for that. I'm sure
oh
LA
my
is
gosh,
hard for
totally.
many of the similar reasons.
Exactly. So I think I just, I had to get to a place where I'd done enough work and spiritual work and of course like had a level of success and everything as well, but got to a place where I was like, no, like I'm like a great partner. Like I can be great. Like why would somebody not want to marry me, or why would somebody not want to be, I mean, I'm sure there are
Right.
reasons, and I can be difficult at times, of course, as we all can, but ultimately like I'm a loving, like committed person who wants to like build something with someone, and I think I'm a great communicator, and I have a lot of empathy, and I'm motivated to like just in general, right? And so yeah, I think like my own shame prevented me from really being able to believe in my own self-worth and kind of set the boundaries that I needed or command the respect that I needed. And there's a saying that I don't love, but I do think there's truth to it, which is like we teach people how to treat us. And so I was sort of teaching Adam, my now
Yeah,
husband, that he could mistreat me and he could kind of like call
totally.
me
I
last
think the
minute
saying
or
is the same
yeah.
as that, but I've been saying that like, um, oh yeah, it's some of those. I can't remember the exact. I used to use it as well, but it's like, yeah, people treat you how you allow them to treat you.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah,
And so, I think when we sort of recognize like, no, I deserve better than that. Like it's really interesting, especially I think men experience this too, but women especially, because we kind of have the stereotype of like wanting to kind of convince the avoidant guy to like us, or the emotionally unavailable guy to like us. When you notice the shift within yourself that goes from like, oh, like that person texted me back at, 11 p.m. or whatever it is on a Friday night, like, ooh, and you're so excited to like, oh, that person texted me back at 11 p.m. on a Friday night, and you're kind of grossed out by it. You're like, well, that's like, no, like, I'm not going to meet up with you this time. Like, make a date with me. Like, and like,
right.
like feeling better. Like it's really interesting. And I think like part of that is just getting older and knowing kind of like what we want and need and understanding kind of the game a bit more. But you kind of go from a shift where things that used to sort of excite you or create anxiety and make you like want to move toward that person to like be enough now repel you. And you're like, no, like I'm not here for that.
Pass.
So yeah, so it's I think that's like a tangible shift that I can't really name exactly what happens, but like you notice it within yourself, and that happened for me. And then I started raising the bar, and he started meeting the bar, and here we are today.